Grandma's Kitchen.
There's a fiddle tune and a wooden spoon while she's stirring and singing. There's friends leaving or family land, and then the phone's usually ringing. No matter who you are or what you've done, everything's forgiven.
Thank God. Thank God.
Thank
God. Grandma's Kitchen.
And ain't it good to be in Grandma's kitchen?
Grandma's Kitchen.
Hello everyone, Mary Janet here from Tunes and Wooden Spoons, and welcome back. And to all of the mothers and the beautiful mothers and grandmas and great-grandmas out there, happy Mother's Day. It's a wonderful day to recognize the beauty of those who raised us or never had a chance to raise us, or who brought us up. And to foster mothers out there who do wonderful work, thank you. It's a wonderful day to recognize those people. So how is everybody? How are you all doing? It was a great week. You know, we're slowly trying to get this spring to kick in, but it will. It's cold today, and it was rainy yesterday, a little bit of rain today. And last weekend was such a beautiful weekend, and I guess we have to take the good with the bad. And today we wanted to recognize something that those from long ago would have made, and that would be the Fat Archie cookies, or the thick molasses cookies, in other words. And so the recipe that I'm using is one that was an old recipe from a lady in Port Hood from years ago. And do you know what? It had some measurements, yes, but I think the recipe was made for like a wood stove where the temperature wasn't just right on, because she said a hot oven for 20 to 30 minutes to cook. And hi, Jenny McDonald up there in Sudbury. But anyway, there's no way in a modern oven that you would cook the cookies that long. So we're going to be making it in a 350 oven. So preheat your oven and for just 10 minutes. Now I've posted the recipe on my website, www.tunesandwoodenspoons.com. And it's already posted on Facebook prior to the show going live about 20 minutes ago. Hi, Ann Doyle. Hope you're doing well. Dear Ann lost her husband a week and a half ago or so, and she's a trooper. And we found out through Tunes and Wooden Spoons. She lives on Cape Breton Island over in the Waterford, and we found out shortly after the show got started last year that there was a connection there between her husband, James, or Jim, and myself, and with the Mabu people. And of course I put my brother, Ellie Broderick, big genealogist in Michigan, to work, and sure enough found out that we're, I think, third cousins. So it still counts. And so I never really got to meet dear Jim in person, but I send out love and support to Anne, and so happy to see her here today. We've been having a few little conversations here and there. There are a couple of shout outs to a couple of people that I want to mention. I want to say a big hello to Tracy Culligan O'Rourke from Belledune, New Brunswick. I know Tracy, never met her in person, but her brother is married to my niece, and she is just had some minor surgery last week, just got out of the hospital, and she's a counselor for Belledune, and she's seeking re-election tomorrow after having surgery. So get out there and vote for Tracy. And also, I want to give a shout out. I love when children or grandchildren are baking with their moms or their grandmas. But in Antigonish, and I know I've mentioned her before, but sweet little Emerson. Hi, Emerson. I know that you are baking most Sundays with your grandma, Minna McDonald. So, hi, Emerson. Keep up the baking, and I know it will be beautiful. So, I wanted to say, I'll mention it again a little later on, but no, I'll just tell you now. I was supposed to make the maple cookies with the maple glaze, and this is a perfect example of me saying that I'm going to make something that I never made before. This recipe I requested because a follower had wanted these cookies that were made at a particular bakery, and they were called maple cookies with a maple glaze and whatever. Well, I made them, and they just weren't me. I don't know what I did wrong, but they definitely were not something that I wanted to make. I mostly like everything I bake myself, but I'm telling you, if there's anybody out there in Pomkit that knows that grandmère that had that recipe and makes those cookies, please send me a picture of your finished product. It just didn't do it for me. It was mine came out kind of like almost like a biscuit style cookie, and not really sweet, except you get the maple flavor, and you also get the maple glaze, which is sweet. But I just wasn't feeling it, so I feel that it's me and it's not the recipe. So just putting it out there, and that's why we're not making it today. And but what better way than to put out these molasses cookies and remember those that passed all of these basic recipes on to us, and what we grew up loving and dunking in our cup of tea and all of that. So anyway, today, we're going to make these ginger cookies, which are called Fat Archies. Now, if anybody out there knows why they're called Fat Archies, I'd love to know. They've been around for years and years and years, so there must be a history behind that name, and I'd love to know. But these are made in two fashions. The recipe was split in its description, and it said, okay, if you want to make it and make them as a drop cookie. Now, some of you may remember them as drop cookies. If you want to make them that way, we're going to stop at a particular point in the recipe. It calls for 2.5 cups of flour. So if you choose to have them as drop cookies, you go there. I like a rolled cookie. So there was no measurement for the additional flour to be added because you had to add additional flour. So I just was by guess or by gosh, and I had written on the recipe, maybe another cup or maybe another cup and a half. But maybe if you just want to add a cup of flour and have a feeling on it, it'll still be a little soft. Wrap it up, put it in the refrigerator if you can wait that time, like a couple of hours, and then take it out and roll it out. And which reminds me, I didn't take my cookie cutters out now. Just hold on. I have my handy dandy Pampered Chef. What else is new? Pampered Chef. So the big one in the box is the one that I use for butter tarts. And this is the 3-inch one. That's what I'm going to be using. And there's 2 more sizes. The next one is for biscuits. And I don't know, the little one, maybe for cutting donut holes. We haven't made donuts. Maybe we'll make them one day. So I'm going to take my 3-inch out. But I mean, you know what? If you don't have a cookie cutter, if you're going to make the cookie cutters, you might have a can, like a can of creamed corn, for example. Cut the top off, cut the bottom off, wash the can very, very cleanly, and that's a great cookie cutter. No need of buying one if that's good for you. All right, are you ready to start? So I'm going to set the oven. Well, I already set my oven. I cheated. It's at 350. The other thing you should do is put a little water in your kettle. We're going to need some boiling water. So by the time we start getting the shortening in our bowl, turn your kettle on, because you're going to need a half a cup of boiling water that you're going to mix with soda. And I'm going to wash my hands. Okay, now that beautiful music that was playing there, that was my niece Natalie. That particular tune is called West Bay Road. West Bay Road is a community here in Inverness County, a beautiful rural community. And that particular tune was written for someone from West Bay Road, a very special man, and who has since passed away. But Natalie recorded that tune on her most recent album called Sketches from 2019. And it is available for download. You can go to her website and order the CD. Her mother, Minnie, will send it out in the mail to you. Or you can download it on iTunes or whatever you prefer. But my God, it's a beautiful album. But I was doing some of her social media for her for the last year. And the needs were more than I could give the technical stuff and the planning and all of that, because everybody has to go virtual these days and have a good plan in place. And just a beautiful guy over there in Toronto, Alex. Hi, Alex, if you're watching today. And he's just what Natalie and Danelle needed to go forward with a new social media plan. So, and I can concentrate on baking. Okay. Oh, yes, a beautiful name just like yours, Natalie. That's right. Okay, I'm going to go wash my hands and stop talking. Okay. And today's just kind of going to be a plain day. I was overwhelmed with the reaction to last Sunday's show, and that little trip to the beach was just such a little thing for me to do, and I didn't even know if it was going to work, if the internet would cooperate. Just take you down to the beach and to the shore and see the waves and see Port Hood. And the icing on the cake, as some people said, was coming back home and Mitchell surprising us at the end of his lane by coming and singing John Prine's song. And I'm so appreciative of all of your comments, and I'm just humbled by the reaction, and so happy that it brought some people to the ocean that haven't been there a while and who are missing Cape Breton. And, sometimes those little things just mean so much, and I'm glad I could bring that to you. But don't expect that every week. I don't have that many ideas up here. And so today it's just going to be me, and we'll get through this together. I bet Jim and Beth Nicholson, there's going to be great waves today. There was a good wind on here. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to put you down. There we go. All right, we're going to start by putting the dry ingredients. Actually, I better get another bowl. Okay, I'm ready. So we're going to put 2.5 cups of flour in here, and I'm going to go with the 2.5 cups of flour today. And when I get to add the other ingredients in, I'm going to add more flour because I'm just going to feel the texture. But we'll go with the 2.5 cups of flour right now, and I'll add more flour because I'm going to roll it out. And have your parchment paper ready too, okay? So 2.5 cups of flour. There's 2.5 cups of flour. and a teaspoon of cinnamon. A teaspoon of ginger. And you could put nutmeg in too. I'm not a lover of nutmeg, so I'm not putting nutmeg in mine, but if you like nutmeg, you go right ahead. And a teaspoon of salt. All right. And that's all you need, and you just stir that around either with a spoon or fork. As you know, I like using my hands. There we go. Okay, I'm going to start with the shortening in that, but the first thing, get a half a cup of shortening ready right now. I have mine all ready here, but I'm going to go and turn my kettle on so that my kettle is boiling. So, a half a cup of shortening. Okay, and I'm just going to use my spatula and just cream that with the back of the spatula, that it's soft, and to that I'm going to add a half a cup of white sugar. And a half a cup of brown sugar. Just like that. I'm going to mix that together. Little Rosie had her first birthday yesterday, and oh my gosh, she had a drive-by drop-off gift from our kids that are up in Halifax, and she got tons of little presents, and she was all excited with her balloons mostly, and I love that little video of her just dancing to the fiddle music that I posted the other day. So darn cute. But she was born during COVID last year, and we didn't get to celebrate her first birthday, but that's okay. We'll get there. Okay. Now to this, we're going to add 1 egg. Sorry, Bernice. Putting it right in there. And just mix that up. Nice and smooth. There we go. So last week I talked a little bit about the cookbook. This is something new for me, you know, of actually going with a publisher. And the publisher that I'm going with is called McIntyre Purcell out of Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. And they are so nice and easy to work with. And yesterday I submitted to them more than 100 recipes. So most of them, of the sweets and muffins and breads and stuff like that, are what we did on the show. But this is the beginning of this journey, so it's exciting. it's exciting. But I think about authors, my goodness, they have to they work really hard for what they do, and we enjoy the finished product. So I'm looking forward to continuing on and doing that project with and hopefully you'll all enjoy looking at it and reading it come this fall. Now next it's going to be 1/2 cup of molasses. You know what, I'm just going to use my little 1/2 cup here, but as I've told you before, it's great to either turn it around with butter, just mix some butter in there and grease your 1/2 cup measure, whether it's a cup or one of these, and the molasses will come out so much easier. And I was actually looking at my real mother, who died at 37 back in 1955, and she had that very hint in her cookbook, so that it's better to grease the cup so that you don't waste any. That was a big thing, don't waste any. So it's coming out really nicely there after being sprayed. See that? It's just about all in there, so just a little bit more. So it's a good tip. And put my cover back on there. And I'm going to mix that just like that. And you're going to need your boiling water. You're going to need 1/2 cup of boiling water, which you should get ready now. And have separate 2 teaspoons of baking soda, because you're going to put that in the boiling water, okay? So I'm going to fill it up to 1/2 cup. And I'm going to put the soda right in there. You hear that? It's fizzing all up. And pour it quickly into your batter and mix that. And there are lots of different recipes, similar ingredients, of course, but you may have a different one that works for you, different measurements, spices, or whatever. If you already make them, don't change. But for people who never had this before, this is an easy recipe. Okay, there we go. Nicely mixed. Cover back on. And now you're going to add your dry ingredients. So after these, this is 2.5 cups of flour. Apparently to the recipe, which I've never done a drop cookie with them, it's ready to drop by tablespoons onto your prepared cookie sheet, which I have parchment paper ready on my table here on top of my cookie sheet. And all the recipe says, if you want to roll them out, you have to add more flour. And that's all it says. It doesn't say how much. So there, that's ready as a drop cookie. I'm going to continue though. I'm going to continue adding a 1/2 cup at a time. And until it's the consistency that I would like to roll it out. And I'm just looking here at myself now. Where's my 1/2 cup measure? I guess I have to wash this out. Hold on a sec. All right. Okay. So I'm going to add a half a cup, and actually, you know what? I think I'll just add a whole cup, which at this point, we're at 3.5 cups, and I'll just feel the consistency, but I think I added another half a cup when I made them. So you know what? This one would probably be the right consistency now to put in the fridge and chill for a couple of hours before you roll it out. But because I want to roll it out like now, I am going to add another half a cup of flour. Do you know what happened to me this week? Early in the week, well, since a long time actually, my dishwasher has been giving me grief and kind of been quite noisy when I turn it on. And first of the week, as they used to say at home when something quit working, it calved. It calved. Don't ask me why, but that was something that they said. And so I was on the hunt for a good sale, was looking at a few things, talking to Gordy. He loves searching for good deals. And he was back and forth back to me, yes, and I, whatever. Anyway, the call came today. I talked to each and every one of the children, all 7 of them this morning. And guess what? They bought a dishwasher for me for Mother's Day. So the big thing is, don't mention that you need something from your kids, or they'll do that. So I want to give a big shout out to all of them to thank you very much. It is now sitting in our son Brennan's garage up in Oakfield near Halifax. And someday I'll get it. But the good thing about it was, as I all the rest of the week, I never had a dirty dish. I just do the dishes right away, and I didn't go looking in the dishwasher for any dishes because they're already done. Okay, here we go. So that's, I guess in total 4 cups of flour. I guess I put that right in the recipe. So basically, you're going to dust your surface, whatever you have, your counter or whatever, and put that on there. And I cut it in half, the batter. The other half is here. And I will probably put that in the fridge and make them later. But I am going to put parchment paper over that to roll out, just because you don't want a lot of, there's already a lot of flour in there, and you don't want them to be floury. And then you have your rolling pin, and you're going to roll it out till it's about a 1/4 of an inch thickness. And when you do it this way, you have to just kind of pop in and have a look. Yeah, a little bit more. I'm just going to put 1 pan in the oven today. That's still a little too thick. I'll roll it out. Here we go. And that's about right. You take the parchment paper off, and you get your 3-inch cutter, or whatever cutter you're using. You can make them small, but this I found made a perfect size. I would actually, you know, dip your cookie cutter in flour. And I just try to cut them all. There we go. And just take them off. Leave the flour there. Okay. I don't know if you can see the cookie sheet. I don't think you can. Can you see that? There you go. You're going to have to leave, I don't think you can put 12 on the sheet because I think they'll bump into one another, but if you don't mind them doing that, I'm just going to separate mine a little bit. I am going to have a little giveaway today. I'll tell you about after the show. Basically, I am... I have two beautiful daughter-in-laws, and I just love them to pieces. And one of them just lives over the road, Mitchell's wife, Laura. Laura's formerly from Reserve Mines over near Sydney. Don't worry if they come out of shape or whatever, just tap them back in. And, you know, as you know, Mitchell and Laura have three handsome little darling boys. And Laura is a professional makeup artist, does a lot of weddings, and she's also a lash technician. But she loves crafting as well. And she has started her own Instagram page and her own Facebook page just a couple of weeks ago. I put this on the wrong way, don't mind me. And she does what is called rope decor. And I'll be showing an example of some of what she makes today. And you can see more of that on her Facebook page. But, and you'll see Laura's page. And what I'm asking is to give her a start in this. She already has a few followers. I'd like you to, if you don't mind, to like or follow her page. And, you know, that helps. That helps promote people. So I'll show you in a few minutes what I'm making here. All right. So just got a little bit left here for this pan. And we're going to put it in the 350 oven for just 10 minutes. We'll make this one a little bit bigger. There. Smells so good. Now, they're good like that. So for some variations, I know my mother used to make these sugar cookies, and she'd put a big sticky raisin in the center, right in the center. And then somebody else was commenting that their mother did the same thing with these cookies. Put a little sticky raisin, or that one of those Luxia raisins right in the center. Or you can also sprinkle it with a little sugar, which I think I will do. Just a little, if you want to. You do not have to at all. But there's lots of sugar in it. So Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Oh my gosh, I got flour all over me. That's okay. We're cooking. So, $3.50 for 10 minutes. All right. Janny McDonald. Her mom did the same thing. Now, Janny McDonald is Malcolm Finlayar's daughter from Mabu, Main Street in Mabu. And Malcolm was a great friend of my father's, and Jenny lives in Sudbury. And anyway, it's nice to see her name there. It brings fond memories back to me, for sure. And her mother was a wonderful, wonderful baker. I'm going to make a cup of tea for myself. And just between us, I just want to remember in a very special way my very good friend, Ethel Chisholm. It'll be a year this week since she passed away. She made it through Mother's Day last year. And it was cancer, and it was expected, but I miss her. And I love seeing her children's messages and, you know, their pictures of their little ones, how much she would enjoy that. And but that is life, isn't it? You just don't know. Okay, I'm gonna make my tea. Okay, I'm going to take you into the living room. As Mother says, a good cup of tea. Isn't that the truth? Thank you, Cheryl McCackern. Patricia, hi. Hugs, Mary Janet, she said. There now. I just love all your messages. It's so nice. Thank you. So, sorry, I forgot one thing. I was scared I was going to forget Laura's, the name of her. Oh, Irene Walker. My recipe is posted. It's on before the live stream on Facebook. It's posted. It was posted just before this post where I'm going live. But if you want to find my recipe, as I said before, www.tunesandwoodenspoons.com and look under recipes. Wilfred Gobey. I know. People want to travel again, but we can do this. We can get through this together. I mean, here in Nova Scotia, we were in lockdown for 2 weeks, which was up this past Monday, I guess. And now, anyway, we're in lockdown until May 31st. You know what? You have to accept those things and know it's for the greater good. and I don't understand the people that just refuse to wear their masks or don't believe in the vaccine. Yes, I suppose it's not been proven, but my goodness, it's going to help a lot of people. I mean, to think that there's young people that are passing away because of this. The weather here today, it's not raining right now, but it's damp and it's cool. I think it's like 5 degrees out there or something like that. That's what it is. And as for Mother's Day, like I said before, I spoke to each one of the children already today. And Cecil and I got beautiful tulips from Cecil. And we're getting takeout for supper. There now. So that'll be nice. So Laura's Facebook page and her Instagram page both have the same name, and she is Laura McDonald. So her page are her initials, LMD Creatives. LMD Creatives, and she does this rope art, and it's just so precious. And she does a lot with rope and with white rope and various, and I'll give you a little glimpse of what she brought over. Oh, just a minute. Now, look at this. I don't know if you can see. Look, I'm just going to hold it up because I'm scared I'm going to drop this thing. Okay, she makes this kind of art, which is a hanging art, or you could use it, to put a nice plant on. But isn't it beautiful? And this is also another one. Just it's plain, and you can see on the back there's a place where you can hang it. She does beautiful work there. And these little things, little vases, and she makes these feathery items and the white rope and that. And this is also, can you see that? It's just kind of a hanging. She's just, and look at the back, isn't that nice? And the giveaway, I'll show you what that will be. So we have this teapot coaster, I should say. And it looks so nice. Teapot coaster, can you see that? I don't know, it looks shiny bright to me. And 4 coasters. Here's a couple right here. 4 coasters. And they're so nice, and that's the back. But she gave me 4 of those and the teapot coaster to give away. And it's easy to mail because it's round and flat, you know what I mean? And so I'll do a post, and people have to like LMD Creatives on either Facebook or Instagram or both. And so we can get her followers' numbers up, and that would be wonderful. And she just is so creative, and she's just a sweetheart, and she's so beautiful, and just has her house decorated just with whites and accents like that, and it's just so nice. And people were asking her, and so she decided to just do this as a little side hustle, and why not? Isn't that great? So, okay, I'm going to go get my tea. I'm going to put milk in a cup and my little china cup, and I'm going to bring the pan of cookies because there's like 40 seconds left. Okay. Ta-da! See if I can show you them. Oh, they smell amazing. And I'm going to take I'd leave them on the pan. I'll leave them on the pan for 10 minutes. But for us here today, I am going to have one with my tea. I'll be right back. They do. They get big. I mean, you can use a smaller cutter. So if you don't like them big like this, to me, that's just the perfect size. How do you tell when they're done? Really? 10 minutes in a 350 oven is perfection. I mean, you don't want to make them any longer than that, or they'll end up really hard, I think. And they're just puffed up, and really, if you take one out and you see, you know, they're brown on the bottom, it's just perfect. Yeah. You're welcome, Patsy. Glad I shared it. And so I'm just going to leave that there for a second. I'm going to have a little sip of tea, but I have a couple more things to share with you. This is going to be in my cookbook. And I'm sure people out there have seen this before, but I love this little story. It was somebody in the U.S. that created this story, and it's the history of aprons. I have a book on aprons, but I really love this story. I don't know the name, but of the author right now, but it will be in my cookbook. But I want you to listen to this and see if it reminds you of of long ago. I mean, Mama always wore an apron, and I remember like the flour bags that you used to get. They used to come. They were floured. There would be flowers in the fabric that held the flour, and you know, they used everything. They didn't waste anything, and they would take that fabric, and they could make an apron out of that. And but it was just natural. The apron stayed on pretty near all day. But this is a story about it. And oh, somebody loves my tea mug. Sorry, this is my Cape Breton mug. There. Oh my God! You know what I just realized? I forgot to turn the mic on. Well, Michael, Nickus, if you're watching, bad on me. I forgot. I'll get it the next time. Yes, Tracy, you know this story, so I'll read it. I'll read it to everyone. The history of aprons. I don't think our kids know what an apron is. The principal use of Grandma's apron was to protect the dress underneath because she only had a few. I mean, they all wore dresses. They never wore pants. It was also because it was easier to wash aprons than dresses, and aprons used less material. But along with that, it served as a pot holder for removing hot pans from the oven. It was wonderful for drying children's tears, and on occasion was even used for cleaning out dirty ears. From the chicken coop, the apron was used for carrying eggs, for fussy chicks, and sometimes half-hatched eggs to be finished in the warming oven. When company came, those aprons were ideal hiding places for shy kids. Can't you just see them hiding behind the apron? And when the weather was cold, Grandma wrapped it around her arms. And those big old aprons wiped many a perspiring brow bent over the hot wood stove. Oh my gosh, isn't that the truth? Chips and kindling wood were brought into the apron, were brought into the kitchen in that apron. From the garden, it carried all sorts of vegetables. After the peas had been shelled, it carried out the hulls. In the fall, the apron was used to bring in apples that had fallen from the trees. When unexpected company drove up the road, it was surprising how much furniture that old apron could dust in a matter of seconds. And when dinner was ready, Grandma walked out onto the porch, waved her apron, and the menfolk knew that it was time to come in from the fields to dinner. Isn't that so true? Grandma used to set her hot-baked apple pies on the windowsill to cool. Now, her granddaughters set theirs on the windowsill to thaw. I don't know about that. Anyway, people would go crazy nowadays trying to figure out how many germs were on that apron. I don't think I ever caught anything from that apron but love. Isn't that great? And that will be in the cookbook. And somebody asked, when will the cookbook be out? October or November of this year. So it takes a while for it to be put together. All summer, the publishing company will be working on that, and my deadline is mid-June to have everything that I want in there. But I've already sent the recipes. Margie is busy out in Fort Mac with photography for it. Some scenes of Cape Breton will be in there. Some food pictures. And I know that it will be beautiful, and I'm working on some other things that we'll have in it as well, just trying to make it as good as possible. Okay, time for a taste test. Wish you were here. Can you see that? It's so good. Hi, Minna McDonald. Is Emerson with you today? Anyway, I'll finish my cookie later. And I'll cook. We're getting near the end here, and you can all go and enjoy Mother's Day, whatever way you're doing it. Catherine Chong, happy Mother's Day. Oh, I'm so glad to share that with you. My cookbook is going to be somewhere between $25 and $30, I think, and I think it's going to be a hardcover, but that's up to the publishers. It's basically their book and my content, and I get a little bit, and they get a little bit, so it's all good. It's all good, and I love that it'll be something that my children will enjoy long after I'm gone, and my grandchildren, hopefully, and their children. And it's nice to leave that kind of an imprint. I'm just so happy. And I wouldn't have been able to do it without all of you guys, or even your encouragement. I'm saying, why would they want a cookbook? All the recipes are on my website. But this one will hold not just the ones I've done here, but some others as well, and maybe some little meal things too. So I think it'll be great. Somebody has already eaten 2 already. Good for you. So, before I go today, I'm very brave going to attempt this. But I'm going to sing an old song for you. It's a song that, an Irish song, and it's, I know, hope I can do it without tearing up, but just bear with me, okay? And like I'm saying, I'm not saying I'm a great singer, but I think I'm dedicating this to all the mothers out there and all the grandmas, but all of the moms who are gone. And if you know it, I hope you sing loud and clear, because it's an oldie, okay? An Irish boy was leaving leaving his native home to cross the wide Atlantic, where he once wished to roam. And as he was leaving his mother, while standing at the gate, she threw her arms around his neck, and this to him she said, "A mother's love's a blessing, no matter where you roam. Keep her while she's living, you'll miss her when she's gone. Love her as in childhood, though feeble, old, and gray, for you'll never miss a mother's love till she's buried beneath the clay. And as the years go onward, I'll settle down in life. I'll choose a nice young Irish girl and take her to be my wife. And as the children grow older and play around my knee, I'll teach them the very same lesson that my mother, she taught to me. A mother's love's a blessing, no matter where you roam. Keep her while she's living, you'll miss her when she's gone. Love her as in childhood, though feeble, old, and gray, for you'll never miss a mother's love till she's buried beneath the clay. No, you'll never miss a mother's love till she's buried beneath the clay. Oh, I love that old song. It's a beautiful song. So there you go, people. Another week has passed, and we'll be out of this soon. Today, I had planned to be in Oakfield, up near Halifax, going to celebrate Mother's Day while at Brennan's house. And of course, yesterday we would have been at Kelly's celebrating little Rosie's birthday. And I had two entertainers that I'm just devastated that I didn't get to have them. They were going to join us at Brennan's, and it was Maggie and Cassie McDonald, formerly from Antigonish, but I believe they live in Halifax, and just amazing musicians. And they had a whole Mother's Day plan in place to perform. They're fiddlers and they are singers, and I have one of their CDs. The one I have is the Willow collection, and I have it in my CD player in my little car. And when I'm all by myself, I turn that on and I crank it up, and I just love listening to all of their songs that have the willow tree in it. So it's wonderful. Anyway, you know that you matter to me, as I always tell you, and I hope you know that. I just think of you all week, and I'm so happy to keep in touch with you. And thank you, Jenny, for singing with me. And have a wonderful week. Make the cookies, enjoy them, and love one another. Love one another as I have loved you. And give your cookies away. Leave them on the doorknob of a neighbor, whatever you want to do. But have an absolutely wonderful week, and let's think positively. We have a wonderful team here that bring us the updates every day. We have Ian Rankin, our new premier, whose grandpa was Archie Rankin, who I spoke of one day on the show. His grandpa was from Mabu, Archie. And of course, Dr. Robert Strang. Everybody loves Dr. Strang. He's a wonderful man. And it's a difficult job that he does, but he keeps us positive and kind of wakes us up and gives us a snap on the side of the head if we're not following the rules. He's great. Okay, people, I love you. Have a wonderful week. Bye, kids. Tammy, Brennan, Margie, Gordy, Kelly, Krista, and Mitchell, and all the grandchildren. I love you all. Thanks for calling today. Thanks for the dishwasher. Bye-bye.
Hey, hi, it's me, Charlie. If you like Grandma's video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe. Give it a like and subscribe.